Good morning, I'm Michael from Moat Monster Gaming, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So it's Swamp Thing time! I love Swamp Thing. I think he's an absolutely awesome DC character. This is him here with ginormous wings and a bark-like sword. This is one of the more modern figures that they've done. But I love Swamp Thing, not to be confused with Marvel's Man-Thing from the 70s as well. Came out roughly the same time. Very similar looking Marvel character here. But as I said, I love Swamp Thing. So as a kid, I always remember the Swamp Thing VHSs in the video nasty section of our local video store. Of course, if I had seen them, I would have known they were nothing but fun, comedy, and nothing at all scary. So I always remember these. I very distinct, felt like he was stealing this woman away. Little did I know he was going to romance her instead. But in the 90s, when the cartoon arrived, they only did like 5 episodes. I really liked the cartoon. And that sent me on my quest as a teenager to get as many of the comics as I can. So actually my comic collection of Swamp Thing goes right through from the 70s to the 80s to some of the really good runs that they've done in the 2000s. This is like the new 52 stuff they did. Very good. When the cartoon came out, Kenner did a line of toys and figures for them. 2 waves, one big, one small, and with a few play sets. So this is the first play set. This is Anton Arcane's Transducer. So mine's still sealed in its box, never been opened. As a teenager, was very heavily into Warhammer 40k, and my dad used to buy up plastic toys from, I don't know what you want to call them, like a bargain shop, and he'd spray paint them and he'd turn them into 40k scenery. So I remember this would have been $1.99 at the time, stickers fallen off with age, and my dad would have bought like 5 of them and turned them into 40k scenery. But whenever he did buy these up, I always managed to keep like a box for myself. So this is my sealed Transducer. On the back, it's in French, because this is the European version. If I flip this, what's the best way to do it? If I flip this round, we can have a little look inside. So it doesn't come with an Anton Arcane, but does come with a Mantis kind of man. And unfortunately, I don't have any loose because they've all been spray painted black and silver. But you put you put the character on there, and then you flip this down, and then they turn into a bug man. In fact, it just rotates and they end up in the bottom. But this is the Swamp Thing Transducer. So I've had this one since I was a teenager. And this Swamp Thing Swamp Trap. Now I'm just going to have to pan this up a bit because it's huge. So this is Swamp Thing with his Swamp Trap. And this again is another European one. So flipping it round. Oh, look. Price tag would have been $1.99 at the time, and again spray painted and turned into 40k scenery. But this is one that I managed to save for myself. Oh, it's quite heavy. And then there we have him dangling one of the characters over a man trap. And actually Swamp Thing can go through the top there. It's kind of like foam, and he goes into a secret cave at the bottom. So why am I showing you this? Well, it's because after many years of not having any figures, I've managed to get a nice stack of Swamp Thing figures from eBay. So I would like to do the best way of doing it. So we'll start with this one. So these are beautiful American package ones, and they're in very nice condition. This is camouflage Swamp Thing. And to be fair, if I left him in a bush in the garden, I definitely wouldn't notice him, which unfortunately is how my Cobra Khan from Masters of the Universe got lawnmowed once. But yeah, this is Swamp Thing. Let's put him to one side. And then here we have Tomahawk with a swift shot crossbow. So this was one of the 2 friends that Swamp Thing had. in the comics. So if we just have a quick look at the back. So there were, in the original lineup, 4 different Swamp Things, Snap Up, Bioglow, Camouflage and Snare Arm. 4 different unmen villains, which were just people that you could stick a bit of rubber on the top and they kind of like turned into monsters. A couple of vehicles and 2 more friends for Swamp Thing, so Biojack and Tomahawk. So very straightforward, just comes with like some sort of big crossbow. Figure looks all right. And then here we have, this is Capture Swamp Thing. So the arm comes out and basically it comes with a club and a net. So not the most inspired, but I do actually quite like the detail of the vines and stuff on the figure. So he's quite cool. And then finally we have Snap Up Swamp Thing. Now my understanding from the back is you pull his leg and he kind of falls apart, though still connected with string. And then you press a little button on the back and bush, all goes back to normal with this incredibly funny looking log bazooka. But to finish the ones that I managed to pick up, I also have Dr. Anton Arcane, evil scientist leader with a spidery bio mask. Now, these masks that fit on them, I imagine from the videos I've seen, are very rubbery, which means after like 35 years, they've either gone very sticky or very brittle. So I'm quite glad that it's sealed quite nicely in the packaging. But that's not all. To go with these, I also managed to pick up, because it's going to look really, really good on my show. Oh, I'm going to have to move these because I've run out of room. The Bayou Blaster. So with firing torpedo and thrashing blades. So this was Anton Arcane's vehicle, and it did feature quite heavily. They kind of rode around with it in the cartoon. And then if we turn it on its side, well, it doesn't come with a figure, but you can see him sitting there prominently on there. He's got these weird choppy cutter blades at the front. Apparently they're thrashing blades. It has, I guess it fires this rocket out. It looks like it would probably glow in the dark, but I don't actually know. And then here we have laser cannons and spinning turbo propeller. So yeah, I think that also looks quite cool. What I do like is, because it's one of the American ones, not the British ones, on the back, instead of a replication of the front cover, we just have a bigger picture of what it looks like. So yeah, very, very cool. I imagine it requires some assembly, but I'm happy with it safely staying in the box. So there we have it, Swamp Thing, one of the best things I think DC ever did, right up there with Batman and Superman. Thank you very much for looking. Take care.